Welcome, guys, to the Monarchy podcast. Today we have Luis Perez from TruView Inspections, and I'm also being accompanied today by my sidekick, Julie Ibarra.
Thank you, Edgar Velasquez, and welcome, Luis.
Welcome, Luis. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Well, my name is Luis Perez, how you said earlier, and I'm one of the owners of TruView Inspections. And I'm also a dad of two little girls. I have a 8-year-old and 4-year-old. One thinks that she is a rock star, and the other one thinks that she is Sophia the First.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were telling us before camera that they love horses. Tell us a little bit more about that. Is it actually something like a sport that they're practicing, or they just like the animal itself?
They
Like
love horses, and I guess I owe it all to Netflix, right? The shows Free Reign and Spirit and everything else like that. And yes, when I'm in the car, I have to play the Riding Free song 30 times, nonstop, back to back.
It's actually a nice song, to be honest.
It is. It is. Yeah, and there's great stories associated with it too. But yeah, my oldest daughter, I just put her in some classes where she starts learning how to ride the Paso Fino horses. So she's done that a couple times, and she really likes it and enjoys it, and it's very therapeutic for them also.
Okay. I hear that sport is a really expensive one to be involved in. If you get to the point of where you have to get the horse or buy the horse and then maintain it, I guess, or keep it alive.
Yeah, no, I definitely have a friend that actually referred me one of the places to take the kids to ride, and he had to buy a horse and everything for his daughter. So, yeah, that's...
Just borrow his.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do the horse thing. I'm not buying a horse. I told her. No way.
Look, this is on camera here. Watch a few years. You know, I think you're gonna be with a horse in the backyard because, like you said, you know, you're very involved off camera. You were telling us you're a very involved dad, so I'm sure that at some point they're gonna ask you for one. And I see you like the kind that would.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to stir her away from actual horses to horsepower, outboard engines.
That's a good one.
And hopefully she likes that better than the other horses, and we could do it together.
That's a really good idea, man. Really good idea. So, Luis, tell us a little bit about TruView Inspections.
Sure. So TruView Inspections, we are a home inspection company where we do home inspections for people who are buying houses. That is mainly our specialty, and we perform mold inspections for the purpose of home buyers and for insurance claims.
How did this happen? How did you get into home inspections?
Sure. So it was it's definitely a journey. So when I was a kid, I grew up with my dad. He came from Cuba in 1980. Doesn't know how to read or write, but he worked construction his whole life, right? And he raised me and my brothers and my sisters and gave us a great, wonderful life. But every kid got to go to summer camp during, when school was out. I never went to summer camp. My summer camp was construction with my dad. And I hated summers. I was one of the few guys that actually said, "No, Mom, please don't let school end," because I hated having to work with my dad in construction. So I learned construction. And once I got out of high school, I said, I realized that college wasn't for me. I didn't like college. And I decided to become a general contractor. And I got my GC license and started doing some GC work and stuff like that. Then in about 2017, I realized that doing the work is very hard and keeping everybody happy. So it's a lot easier to criticize other people's work, in other words, and do the work yourself. So I teamed up with my partner, Jonathan. I was going through a very tough moment in my life where, I was going through a divorce, and it was one of the hardest moments that I've ever gone through. And it was there in that moment that I turned to my best friend, Jonathan, that has a marketing background. And we came together and we decided to start an inspection company. And that's where TruView was birthed.
Gotcha. And when was that? The year more or less?
In 2017.
2017. Okay.
Was it pre or post Irma?
It was pre-Irma.
Okay.
We actually got started in June of 2017.
Okay, so right before.
Yes.
Wow. Well, that's a pretty amazing story. And also, you're a couple of years now into the business. And what is it like running that business?
It's everyone looks at me and says, "Hey, you're a business owner. That's amazing. You get to make your own schedule and do whatever you want." And it's like, no, you're wrong. If that's the mentality you have, you're not going to be successful. I'm the first one to get there, the last one to leave. And everyone gets out there and they clock out, and we stay locked in 24/7. Right? Sometimes it's hard to get this machine in your head here to turn off. So, being a business owner, it's great. It has its perks, it has its rewards. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. And I was just telling somebody the other day, let's say you woke up late. You went to bed late on a Sunday and it's Monday. You get to work. Some people, you slack off. And it's like, okay, when you own a business and you have people, you have employees, people that depend on you for their paycheck, people that depend on your business to support their families, it's not only your load that's on your shoulders, it's everybody else's load. So you cannot have an off day. You can't have a day where it's like, today I just want to slack off. Today I'm going to take it easy because I was at a wedding last night. Like, you never could take that opportunity. You always have to go at 5,800 RPM all the time.
Yeah. I remember when I started training in this business that I would say, I worked for somebody, obviously. And I would say, you know what, when I go on my own, I'm going to, on Thursday, I'm going to take I used to live close by. So I would say during lunchtime, I'm going to take a nap. When I come back, I like working late. So that was always the idea. I'm going to rest, go back to work. You know what? Fridays, I'm going to take them off. Since the moment that I went on my own, I have not done any of those things.
You haven't taken a nap?
No naps.
No Fridays off.
No Fridays off. So I feel you 100% on that aspect. And also where you're saying it's so much pressure of not only pushing the business forward, but making sure that you're that you have the support for all your staff members and their families. So you're not only employing the people that work directly for you, but you also have the responsibility of the people that are related or in the family nucleus of those employees. So a very good point that you brought that up. So who handles, you said Jonathan and you work it together. Who handles the operations portion of it? The schedule, not the scheduling, but the in-house administrative.
Or how do you share those responsibilities, and how is it like having like a business partner?
Look, I always hear a lot of horror stories regarding business partners, but I have the best business partner in the world. I don't care if he's listening or not, right? Me and Jonathan, I don't think there's ever been a day where we've gotten in an argument, right? We similar. We grew up through, with very similar backgrounds, with our parents being like your old school Cuban working dad, right? So me and him, we could tell each other anything and we never become offended. It's never a feelings thing because we're always striving to be better and always striving to be greater. I handle mainly the operations. Jonathan sticks to the marketing and the financial sides. And I just make sure that this ship keeps, running and staying its course. And I keep all the ducks in line. So, I'm more of the enforcer and Jonathan is more of the brains behind the operation.
Gotcha.
Okay. You always need one of those at least.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, it's good. It's good that you guys have been able to find that balance and make sure. And I work with a lot of my friends as well. I brought them into the business, and we know, business is business. And then when we're outside of this office, then we could be friends again in a sense. But a lot of people don't know how to differentiate. So that's very important. And you're lucky, let me tell you, because I have heard a lot of horror stories as well of partnerships of similar kind.
The thing about us is that we both have the same goal in mind.
Right, and that's important.
And the thing is that I am a work animal. I am a diesel motor. I just don't stop. And he is the same exact way.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think he probably works harder than me sometimes. So when you have someone that works at your par like that, it just makes things easier there. Yeah. Right? Because there's not one person carrying more weight than the other. We're both carrying and both rowing together at the same time.
That's so important, man. And he actually, when I met with him about 2 weeks ago, he said the same exact thing about you. He said, "Wow, you work so hard." So that's a good thing that you guys are on the same balance.
Yeah, I believe that hard work and effort makes up for a lack of talent and natural gifts.
Yeah,
that's
always.
True.
Yeah.
And even and many times education itself, like a school, to be specific. You can, as long as you have the, like you say, the effort, the drive, there's no obstacle you can't overcome.
Absolutely.
Important that you bring that up. Let's see.
And speaking of obstacles, I know, in a business or in life, we go through a lot of obstacles. We talked about you started your business right before Irma. I don't know if that was good or bad for your business, but with the recent events like COVID, how has that affected your business?
Well, COVID was definitely something that not only impacted our business, but almost all types of businesses, right? But I think that one day someone asked us a question, what's like you and Jonathan's biggest strength? And our biggest strength is our ability to adjust. And many people do not have the ability to adjust. But when you're able to adjust, you become like a chameleon. You could work under any type of circumstances. So the moment that COVID hit, we automatically knew that, okay, we need to make adjustments here. And we shifted the focus of our business and the way that we branded, the way that we marketed, to be able to suit the conditions that we were in, right? So, luckily we had different parameters already set in place that made us stand out from everybody else. So we offer videos with our inspection reports. We're the only ones in the industry that are providing videos with the inspection reports. The videos, they went from being a luxury to being a necessity now, because less and less the buyers were showing up to the homes when we were doing the inspections. Gotcha. Another thing that we have is the immediate report delivery. So most people give you the report the next day, 2 days later. We provide the reports immediately on the spot before we leave the property. So during COVID, we had to get all of our inspectors certified through our governing body for COVID-19 safety. And as a result, they started wearing gloves, masks, face shields, gallons of sanitizers on site. So when people would look at us, and we were the only ones doing that, and other people weren't doing it to the level that we were doing it, realtors who were referring us business felt more comfortable giving us work as a result of that, along with the videos and everything else that we had to offer. But definitely during COVID, we've actually grown. We've grown even more during these times, because when COVID struck, a lot of people were like, oh my God, COVID hit, we're going to shut down, this is over, et cetera, et cetera. But to me and Jonathan, we were like, okay, what this does is it places us at the start line with our competitors and with other people, because now everyone stopped. But now when we start again, we're all starting at the same start line. So if you have 15 more years in the industry than me, it doesn't matter. Exactly. We're all at the same start line. So from the moment that the gun blasted, the horses hit the race, and we haven't looked back since.
Did it slow down a bit at all, or no?
We slowed down in the month of April. We slowed down a bit. And then May and June has been record-breaking months for our business.
Okay. And just interesting fact, my policy renewed in February, my insurance policy, and they required an inspection of my home. They didn't call me till like a month later, which was like right in the middle of March. And I actually pushed back that inspection because I didn't want anybody in my house. Like I was afraid at the moment. It was right in the midst of everything. So I actually didn't allow them to come in like maybe a few weeks ago. I let them come over.
And that's the thing. Like we faced those obstacles, but what would we do? We would portray to the consumer was, hey, look how our guys are protecting themselves. Look what we're sending you out there. Our inspectors look like they were going out to a riot, like riot gear. And when people started seeing that, they started feeling comfortable and giving us the opportunity to go in there and do these inspections. And ultimately, like I said, it's just the ability to adjust. When you're in business, you have to learn to adjust, because you're never going to get the same defense twice.
And it's how you market it too, because now that you put it that way, they never told me that. I just said I don't want anybody, and then they pushed it back and they called me the next month and the next month. But they never, said anything or made me feel like, hey, we're going to take proper precautions. And not that I doubted that, but I don't want to take the risk. But maybe if they had told me what you just told me, maybe I would have given in and said, okay, you know what, send your guy over. So yeah, it's also how you market things.
Yeah, so we would have said, hey, so our inspectors are COVID-19 safety certified. We have taken classes and have a certification on how to handle an inspection to be COVID safety. Not only that, our inspectors are wearing gloves, masks, face shields, bringing sanitizers on site. So that would have brought peace of mind to you and potentially, gotten you over the fence and let us go into the house and do the inspection. So that's exactly what it is. It's what makes us different than everybody else.
That's true. Absolutely true.
It is. When you say video, you mean you guys conduct a video of every single corner of the house, or is it like an overview, a walkthrough? What exactly are you referring to when you say you guys provide a video? That's
a great question. So when we provide videos, so here's one way we use videos, right? You're buying a house, and the inspector takes a picture of something and says electrical system is not up to code, repairs are recommended. You look at that and you're like, what the heck does he mean by that? Right? And it's 7:00 at night. You finally got work. You have time to look at your report. And then you call him. He doesn't answer the phone. It's after hours. And now you have that anxiety. Like, what is he talking about the whole night? So we actually provide videos that would show, okay, listen, your electrical system is not up to code because this wire needs to be inside a conduit pipe and it's not routed the right way. So we need an electrician to fix this. So it gives someone, instead of just boilerplate for them to read, it gives them the visual and the tutorial on what's going on with the house. Not only that, but we provide videos of all of the appliances in the home running and operating: refrigerator, washing machine, dishwasher, washing machine, when the cycle starts, when the cycle's completed. all the appliances, right? Turning them on, turning them off. AC, here's your AC running, the noise that it makes for you to listen to it. So that way when you move into the house, you don't say, oh, but you didn't tell me this AC was making this weird noise. No, we're showing you a video of the AC. This is what you got. So it provides a level of depth to the inspection that just pictures won't give you, because a picture says 1,000 words, but a video says 10,000 words.
Yeah, I agree. And so it sounds like that the video would make the report kind of obsolete, in a way. Do you guys still write a report and provide the video?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, just the other day, we work with a lot of realtors, and when someone goes to buy a house and the contract is accepted, you have to put money in escrows or escrow deposit. Then anything that happens during the inspection, it's the responsibility of if there's anything that breaks during the inspection, it comes out of the escrow deposit that the buyer put. Okay. So we were at an inspection. We did it on a Tuesday, and Thursday, the listing agent sends a text message to the buyer's agent who recommended us, saying, hey, those guys left the stove on at the house because we had someone come in and look at the house for a backup offer, and they left the stove on at the house. And immediately the buyer's agent replied to him, and he sent me a screenshot. He says, no, they didn't. Take a look at the video on the inspection report. It clearly shows him turning on the stove and then turning it off. So that's awesome. That's what the video do. If it wasn't for that, then they could have said, no, the stove got damaged and it's $800. We're going to take that out of the escrows, and there's no way to prove that it was turned off. But when you have videos, it proves it.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, because, we're homeowners. I've never seen a report like that where it includes a video or so detailed. And in our business, we see a lot of home inspection reports, because I don't know if you know, like the insurance company, whenever it's a claim that it's a recently purchased home, they do refer back to those reports to see if the inspectors noted anything that maybe, they can say was pre-existing. It was there when they bought the house. So I've seen many reports, and I've never seen one as detailed as you describe it to be. So that's pretty impressive.
Definitely never a video.
No, I've never seen a video. No,
I've never seen that. And the fact that you guys are able to provide that the same day, that blows my mind.
No, not even the same day. So most companies, they offer, there's some companies that offer same day promise. Okay. Others next day promise. My promise to the consumer is you could hold my inspector hostage on site until he gives you the report. And there's people saying, I'm going to take you up for like, don't worry, we're not going to file a kidnapping report. It's okay. You could hold the inspector hostage on site until he gives you the report.
Sounds like a lot of work. Like, how long does an inspection process take? Like, to complete one home inspection and report and all that?
Yeah, so a typical home takes about 2 to 3 hours to finish and get inspected. So let's say it's a 2,000 square foot home. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to do the full inspection, including the insurance reports that are needed, which are the wind mitigation and 4-point, and the full home inspection.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So in 2 or 3 hours, that's the turnaround time for somebody to have their inspection report in their hands with videos and everything.
Everything, correct.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm just amazed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, look, I like instant gratification. Let's say that I need to buy something, and Amazon has it at a certain price, and it takes 2 days. 2 days. And I go to the store, and I could get it right now, but it costs me more money. I am the type of guy that I will buy it right now, because I like instant gratification. So when someone's going and paying money for an inspection, the inspection gets done. I said, I want to give people instant gratification. I want you to have your reports now. And that's what's going to separate us from everybody else. And that's what we've been doing since we started.
And for you as an inspector, I'm sure it's less stressful. Once you leave there, you're done. Like when we leave a house, you still have so many things to do, and you have to put reports together and follow up, and you don't have that follow up. You leave and you're done. That's it with that job. Yeah,
look, and some people have said, well, I question the accuracy of the report when you're providing it on the spot. You know what my response to that is? I question the accuracy of the guy that doesn't provide it on the spot, because I've done plenty of inspections.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. You're walking around with a clipboard, okay? And you're taking pictures and writing down what you think is wrong with the house. Then you go back home, you have dinner, you take a shower, you start preparing the report, and you're like, darn it, I didn't get a picture of the AC. Oh, what do I do? Well, at that moment, you have one of two choices. Either you submit the report without the AC picture, or you got to call the realtor and tell them, hey, I messed up. I need to go back to the house and take another picture. You know what the realtor is going to say? You big dummy, right?
It's probably not going to call you back.
You're going to inconvenience them. But when you're there and you're doing it in your car before driving out of sight, it's like, oh my God, I missed it. Let me get off really quick and knock on the door again. So I question the accuracy of the report where they prepare it, not on site.
That's a good point.
True. That's a great
really
point.
Good point. Yeah. For home buyers, how important is it for them to get an inspection from a company like yours?
Oh, a home inspection, the way that I put it is like this. Buying a home is one of the biggest investments that you're ever going to make in your life. You go buy a car and you could buy a $100,000 car and it's a 6-year, 7-year commitment. When you buy a home, most of the time it's a 30-year commitment. It's the biggest investment that you're going to make in your life. So you got to protect your investment. So that's why at TruView, we have a slogan that says, your investment is only as good as your inspection. So you're investing money. It's possibly the biggest investment. It's a 30-year commitment.
Yeah.
You need to get it inspected. You need to know what's going on in order for you to make a proper decision as to whether you want to move forward with the transaction, request some types of credits for the repairs, or back out of the deal altogether. It's very important.
Gotcha. And I don't know if this is a question that you can answer, but is a home inspection during the process of buying a house, is a home inspection mandatory?
Okay, so that's a great question. So there's 3 types of inspections, 3 reports that we provide when we do an inspection for someone that's buying a property. The first one is your full home inspection. That's where we go through the whole home and we outline everything that's wrong with the house and provide estimated repair costs for those deficiencies that we find. But there's also the 4-point and wind mitigation, which are the insurance reports. So unless you're buying cash, you have to insure your home. If not, the bank's not going to lend you the money. So is a home inspection mandatory? Yes, it's mandatory unless you're buying cash. So if you're buying cash and you don't want to insure your home, then you don't need a home inspection. Who cares? But the reality is, if you are buying cash, why wouldn't you want to insure your investment? So yes, a home inspection kind of is mandatory.
I agree. And go ahead. I know you have
No. It just
story.
reminded me of something. The other day, a client that I was at his house, and I asked him if he has a home inspection report because it was a recent purchase. And I remember he said, I'm not sure, there was 2 kinds and I did the cheaper one. So I'm just wondering now, what kinds of inspections are there? How many kinds and why are they, cheaper, I guess?
So let's say that, so there's the wind mitigation 4-point, that's the cheaper package.
That's the one that's required if you
Yes.
have a loan.
Yeah, because the 4-point inspection is to determine your insurance eligibility. And the wind mitigation inspection is to lower the rates on your windstorm policy by certain features that your home has. But that doesn't go in depth as to check the appliances, the roof, the plumbing, the AC. That's just like a basic form. It's like an application.
And the 4-point, just to elaborate, it's electrical, plumbing, structural, and HVAC?
It's electrical, plumbing, roof, and HVAC.
Roof, okay.
So basically what the insurance company is looking for there is, hey, has the systems or components been updated in the last 20 years? So it's not like the inspector's going up there and telling you, hey, you got a leak over here and the flashing is damaged over there and etc. It's just like, get up there, take some pictures. Boom, we're doing whatever it takes to help you get insurance. So it's more of an application and not so much of a in-depth detail report.
Okay, so what does that more expensive inspection get me?
It gets you a full analysis of every component of the home. So the roof, structure, electrical, plumbing, AC, thermal imaging scans of the home, moisture meter readings. I mean, it goes in depth, has to check every single window, every single door, every single light switch, every single outlet. It's just an in-depth inspection of everything with the home, along with estimated repair costs to have an idea as to how much it will cost to make these repairs, so you could request credits or know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, seems like it's worth it.
It is. And I want to bring something back that you mentioned that's very, very important. And that's that, like you said, when you're buying a house, it's likely one of the biggest investments that you're going to make as a consumer, homeowner, whatever it may be. And it's important to have it insured, but not just have it insured, have it properly insured. We come across, and this is something that we're pushing a lot now, free policy reviews for not only our clients, but actually anybody that wants it. Just because there's so many people out there that have insurance, but they don't have the proper coverage. So it's important that, again, protect your investments. Even if you bought it cash and you think you don't need insurance, you do, because you have to protect that amount of money that you invested, and make sure that it's protected correctly, or at least with full coverage in a sense. So
yeah, a lot of people, they go and they send the wind mitigation of 4-point to the insurance agent. They come back and says, which one's the cheapest one? This one? Okay, perfect. They just sign there. Exactly. And they're not looking at huge deductibles, exclusions.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you have an issue is when you wish you would have looked at it. So don't go for the cheapest option. Go for the best option.
Yeah. But the problem is, and we talk about this a lot, but I think we have to spread awareness. The problem is that insurance is sold at least homeowners insurance as a cover all policy, and that's not the case. Just because you're insured does not mean that you are properly insured. So that's a big problem that we're fighting now. You can't imagine how many clients we come across that, oh yeah, I have insurance, and they have a pipe burst, and then water damage is not included in their policy. So we come across that a lot. If you guys want to help out any of your clients, just tell them, hey guys, make sure you review your policies before buying it, and make sure that you're covered for the things that you should be covered for. And even the realtors, we're also spreading it to realtors as well, and hoping that they get their clients informed.
Absolutely. So, yep, that's a great idea.
You have insurance. You own a property?
Yes.
Okay. You have insurance?
Yes.
With who? Do you remember?
Yes, Citizens.
Citizens?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got to take a look at that policy later. I got some bad news for you. Okay. So I know that besides TruView inspections, you guys also do mold assessments?
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct. Okay. And the repairs as well. Is there another subdivision that does repairs?
Yeah, we have a subdivision that does mold remediation also.
Mold remediation, correct. Okay.
You mentioned you were a contractor. Do you still practice that as well, or no?
Yeah, so my general contractor's license qualifies our mold remediation company.
Okay.
So that way that not only are we able to do remediations, but we're able to do build backs also and subcontract the necessary contractor. So normally a mold remediation tech company, they say you have to remove the kitchen because the mold is behind the kitchen cabinets and the HVAC system is contaminated. A regular mold remediation contractor is unable to subcontract a plumbing contractor to remove the plumbing in the kitchen, and is unable to subcontract an HVAC company to clean the HVAC system. So that's the beauty about having the GC license and having a qualifier company where we're able to make subcontract everybody, and the customers aren't going out there and paying that out of pocket, where the company's actually taking care of that under the assignment of benefits.
Okay, so you guys are like a one-stop shop.
Yes.
For homeowners and repairs. Right?
Yes.
And a lot of people undervalue that. They feel that it tends to be a little more expensive because you have somebody that's overseeing the entire operation. But that's important because that person's the contractor is the experienced one, the one that knows what to look for and what to make sure that it gets done. So a lot of people like to do their own self contracting, and I like to advise against it, especially if you have no knowledge of construction. From these things that you guys do, what would you say is your specialty, your expertise? Where does it lie?
Well, I mean, our expertise is really in everything that we put our hands on, right? But I mean, our specialty is definitely in the home inspection industry. I mean, we're one of the leaders in our area in the industry in doing this, and we just love working with home buyers and that are going through the home buying process and helping them make an informed decision as to what they're buying and what they're doing. And that's really what TruView is based on, and the heart of TruView right there.
And what are some of your recommendations for those like potential buyers who want to purchase a home?
Yeah, well, I think that you need to find yourself a good realtor. Do your research. Look at reviews. Many times than not, people don't want to use a realtor because they think it's going to cost them more money or stuff like that. But the reality is you need a realtor. You need someone to guide you throughout this process, because when you don't have someone that's properly guiding you and fighting for you, you're just going to sometimes just end up going in circles, and you spend more money in the long run because you weren't making the right decisions. So it's always good to have a great realtor. Partner up with a good realtor. Go online, look at the reviews, look at somebody that's really going to help you, and partner up with them.
That's great. That's great advice. All right, Luis. So I want to hear a horror story, something that in a home inspection that you discovered, something crazy, or maybe a bad situation that you had with a client. Just your worst story that pops up in your mind.
Well, I mean, bad situations with clients, they happen sometimes. Just the other day, I was on the phone, and this lady, she called in because she had a concern about something, so wanted to speak to a management. I called her. I call her by her first name, and she's like, "Don't you dare call me by my first name. You call me by my last name, Mrs. Such and such and such." And I'm like, she's like, you, in order for someone to call me by my first name, they need to have a great relationship with me. And you just started off on the wrong side. And I was like, if I don't call you by your first name, what am I supposed to call you, right? But not so much of a horror story, but one of the coolest things that I've ever seen was I was personally once a couple of years ago doing an inspection in Miami Beach. It's like an old, like 30s home, very, very old. And there was this big, like metal cap in the driveway. And I asked the owner of the home, like, hey, what is that? I thought is that like a septic tank? Is that there a gas tank down there? And he went there, he opened it up, and it was actually a bunker.
Oh, wow.
So during, I guess, the 50s or the Holocaust times, or when I guess the owner of that home, whoever built that home in Miami Beach, by Lagos Island, he was concerned that the Japanese were going to bomb Miami. So he built a bunker underground for that. And I went inside the bunker.
Oh, you got to actually go inside. That's pretty cool.
It was dark and it was cool, but it was one of the coolest things. I had never seen that before. I think that might be the only home in Miami that has an underground bunker like that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that recently, and we said we didn't even think it was possible because the sea level here is so low. I didn't think you could actually build a bunker,
especially in Miami Beach too. So
right, so close to the coast.
I thought I was on an episode of this show called Doomsday Preppers. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have.
I thought I was in an episode of that. That was really cool.
So since you discovered that bunker, did you have to inspect it and also provide an opinion on it? Or?
No. I know nothing about bunkers. That's not what I specialize in. So I definitely had to exclude that and let them know from the original inspection. I have no idea what I was looking at in there.
That's pretty cool. So since you do a lot of inspections for potential homeowners, I assume when you visit the homes, the sellers are usually present at the inspections?
Sure. If the home is occupied, more times than not, the sellers are usually there.
Do they ever try to persuade you to not show something, or they try to conceal something or anything like that?
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
I can imagine a scenario like that where somebody tries to hide something in their home, especially if they're trying to sell it.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, I was at doing an inspection in Miami Lakes, nice home in Miami Lakes, and I go to the AC, and the AC is from 1998. So I let the clients know it's 1998. And I'm doing a video. Hey, the AC is from 1998. Look at it working. So the homeowner comes, and he's like, no. The AC is not from 1998. That AC is from 2015. I said, okay. Well, it says 1998 right there. No. It's from 2015. No. It's from 1998. He's like, no. How much is it going to cost me for it to say 2015? And I said, okay, all right, let me think about this. All right. So I trolled him a little bit. I said, let me think about this. So for me to be able to properly retire, let's say that I'm going to need at least $100,000 for the next, 20 years. So yeah, I'm in $2 million and we got a deal. So he was like shocked that I told him that, but that was the reality of the situation. It's like the AC said 1998 and he wanted me to tell my clients that it was a 2015 AC. That makes sense.
Yeah. And that's why it's important to hire a company who's honest and you can trust that they're not going to, nobody's going to buy them out or lie about, because I'm sure things like that happen all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the buyers were even under the impression that the AC was a 2015. And what they did was they made repairs to the AC system in 2015. But the unit was from 1998. Yeah. It's a massive difference.
Sure, give them your GC card. Be like, well, if you want to upgrade it to 2020, here you go.
Did you say Miami Lakes?
Yes.
No, it wasn't me.
What? Why do these?
Actually, you do look familiar.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying because these horror stories typically take place in that region.
Of the vicinities of Hialeah.
Yeah, exactly. And and she happens to live, there, right, Yuli?
Yeah. Sure.
Luis, how often, if at all, do you guys come in contact or work with PAs or so in a way commingle with PAs, public adjusters to be specific?
Sure. So we work with public adjusters all the time, especially with the mold assessment side of our business. Whenever there's a water loss, normally public adjusters call us out for us to go and do a mold assessment of the areas of concern where the loss occurred.
Why do you think that's important to have that done when there's a water loss?
No, definitely, because whenever there's a water loss, mold could grow as fast as 24 hours. So now you had water, it's been leaking, mold grows fast, etc. Now, the moment that there's mold, you can't just get any contractor to go in there and remove the mold, because there's a certain process that the mold needs to be removed under so that it doesn't spread throughout the rest of the home and start getting people sick. And that's why a licensed mold assessor first needs to go over there and make an assessment and determine as to whether there is mold. And then if there is mold, then that assessor needs to write a remediation protocol, which then will be handed over to the remediation company, and then they could go out and do the mold remediation for that. And then the policies do have a certain limits to take care of mold, right?
That is correct.
And guess what? If you decide not to do it, then those funds are just sitting there. And whenever you get paid from your claim and you decide to do the remodels, now you're going to have to pay that out of pocket. So it's always better to use the resources you have in your policy and have the mold inspection done. And if there's mold, remove the mold. That way you can ensure the safety and the health of you and your family.
And do it properly, because I know some people think they can just spray some bleach and, you know, they'll paint it.
Oh,
and, you know, do those kind of things. And you have to do it properly.
You know, it's funny that you said that. And I should have said this was my horror story.
Tell us more.
I one day, one of the things was we do a lot of educational sessions for realtors. And one day, one of the tips, we have the 10.5 tips to ensure a smooth inspection. And one of them is let the inspector answer inspector-related questions. Because more times than not, you have realtors that, well, the inspector is explaining, okay, this is what's wrong. And they're jumping in and they're saying, oh, no, yeah, you could just fix that with this. Don't worry about that. Right? Because they're just thinking about getting the closing and the sale, et cetera. Yeah. So I remember one time I had a realtor that there was mold inside the AC closet. All inside the air handler closet. And I'm explaining the inspection, and the realtor says, no, yeah, you just spray bleach on it and paint it, and you'll be good to go.
I've heard that one, yeah.
And I was just stay quiet, and I was like, well, as a home inspector, I'm not supposed to say how you're supposed to make these repairs. It's my job to say what's there and what's not there. So I don't want to defy this guy, but I just stayed quiet and continued explaining the rest of the stuff. You know, about 3 months later, the owner calling the company, complaining, hey, well, when we did the inspection, there was mold there, and the realtor told me that all you had to do was just spray bleach and paint it. So I sprayed bleach on it, I painted, the mold grew back, and then I had to call a mold company, and it's going to cost me $5,000 because the AC needs to be removed, the drywall needs to be replaced, the HVAC system's contaminated, etc. And I said, yeah, I know. Why'd you believe the realtor? You know, we should have called the company out there before. So yeah, a lot of people think that mold is just doing that, and no, mold needs to be removed under proper containment and then encapsulated and microcleaned in order to make sure that it doesn't grow back again.
And there's different kinds of molds. So do you guys test samples and stuff to know like what kind of mold it is and how to treat it?
Yep, absolutely. So when we do a mold assessment, we take samples. So in some cases, there's visible mold there. You take a surface sample. And when there's mold that's not visible or unreachable, there's a cavity test or air quality testing that we take, and then that gets submitted to a third-party accredited laboratory, and then they make the determination as to what type of mold was there and was present.
Or you could just put bleach.
Yeah, or you could just put bleach.
Whichever works for you.
But about the we were discussing the PAs and your involvement with them, and you said that yes, you guys work with them often. I wanted to ask you if let's say a pipe leaks in a kitchen, right? And the homeowner dries it out super quick. What are the chances that, in your experience, what are the chances that there could be mold growth underneath because that homeowner cannot access the cabinets, the bottom part of the cabinet in a sense?
Yeah, that there is a very, very high likely chance that there is going to be mold there because the water drips, but you're only accessing the water that's visible and readily accessible. But behind the toe kick, there's going to be water. And underneath the cabinet of floorboard, there's going to be damage. So there's always going to be water. Then that water just stays down there. And then the drywall absorbs it. And next thing you know, you have mold on the drywall behind the cabinets that now requires the kitchen cabinets being removed in order to be able to access the drywall that's back there.
You guys have cameras, right, that you could insert into these like small crevices and to inspect those areas?
Yes, we do. Yeah, so we have scope cameras, and then we also do have sewer cameras where we also put down the sewer pipes of the homes.
Okay, that's important because sometimes, I mean, again, it may be something that the mold may be hidden behind the wall or underneath the cabinet, not necessarily right on top, what got first exposed to the water. So it's important that you guys have that type of equipment when you come out.
And talking about mold, I wanted to go back to the mold coverage we were talking about earlier so that people know and understand that the mold coverage that's separate, the insurance company will pay you guys for that mold portion or whoever it is separately. It's not something that comes out of their proceeds or their other coverages. And that's why it's important to know and understand these coverages and make sure you're properly covered and that you have all these different coverages that you can, tap into your policy if you have an issue. So not to be afraid to hire a professional to take care of that property because it's not going to come from their proceeds of doing the actual repairs to the property.
Sure, yeah, that's one thing that clients see all the time. They're like, oh, but if I do this work, it's going to be less money that comes off my claim, and it's not. If you don't use those funds, the insurance keeps it.
Right.
So you might as well use those funds to make sure that your home is safe and is mold free.
Yeah. Otherwise, once your claim is closed, you're going to have to use your money to fix the mold.
Absolutely.
Correct. Luis, how important do you think is for a homeowner to have representation during a claim, in your experience?
Very, very important. But I think more important than that is who you choose to represent you, right? So make sure you use Monarch because they're the best, right? but here's the bottom line, Edgar. If you do not hire a PA, you're setting yourself up to fail because the insurance company is going to look at you and say, you big dummy, great job, denied. And they're going to deny your claim. And then now you have to go and hire an attorney or somebody because now you're in litigation and your claim is going to take a lot longer for you to get your money because you decided to contact the insurance company directly. So the insurance company, unfortunately, is not your friend. They are not looking to pay you. They're looking for a way not to pay you. And a PA is there to make sure that you get the proper representation that you yourself cannot do for yourself.
Or they'll throw a couple peanuts at you and then you think, oh, that's it. That's all I got. And now you're putting money out of pocket when you shouldn't have to.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, and like you said, not just any PA. Just make sure it's a really good one. And if you want the best, then you call Monarch, of course. I've seen you guys have done lately a lot of ads for social media and mainly Facebook and Instagram, right? That's the platforms that you guys are working on most?
Yes.
Tell me, how do you feel about being in front of the camera, man? Because you do a great job. So I just want to get your intake on how it feels. Is it natural to you?
And how did it feel being on camera with Edgar? I know you guys were recently on camera together.
That was fun.
Yeah, I felt really bad about that. When I watched that video, I was like, what the hell was going through my mind? Holy crap.
No, the video was great. We did a great job together, man. We made a great team. So
you did a great job, but trust me, when I saw myself, I'm like, no. Anyway. I already sent the text to Jonathan. I apologize for my really terrible performance.
You were great, man. You were great. But like being on camera, I remember when we first started it. I just said started it. When we first started, at the beginning, I was just keep messing up. So like we have the bloopers, and we were looking at the other day, and I was just laughing at the bloopers. But I just try to just pretend it's not there and try to have fun while we're doing it, and we've gotten better as we've done it more often. So I enjoy doing it. Actually,
you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And these guys have, oh my God, a bank of bloopers of me trying to get shots right. Like they're gonna murder me during this Christmas party. We're gonna play them, throughout.
Are we gonna have time to watch all that?
We'll send that as a homework for the team. So yeah, that's good, man. That's good. To me, it doesn't come natural at all. We were talking about it, and I just wanted to get some tips from you to see if how I can improve my game. But it's something that you like you said, right? It's something that you enjoy.
I enjoy it, and I just the way that I see it is, I'm the type of guy that when I'm gonna do something, I lock in. Like that's always my keyword, Luis, lock in. I talk to myself. I know it's weird, but it's like when I get somewhere, like when we were gonna sit down here, I'm like, wow, like we're gonna do a podcast. I've never done a podcast before. Okay, like you guys, I popped my cherry, right? And then I hope that was proper to say, right?
Yeah, your podcast cherry. Yes,
podcast cherry. And I just, when I sat down, I'm like, okay, Luis, lock in. So those are always like my two words, just lock in.
Got that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try that out. Yeah. I talk to myself a lot too when I'm running and working out. You could do it, but then I'm really dying, so that's why I have to do that.
Do you typically do these on your own? Does Jonathan ever join you on these like ads and stuff that you do, or is it just you?
Sure. Mainly, I do most of them, but Jonathan just did one not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, actually. Yeah.
I haven't. You guys haven't pumped it out yet, right? Because I don't.
We
think
did.
I've seen,
We did. Yes.
Okay, I'll look out for it.
Sure.
I'll look out for it. What motivates you, Luis?
Well, I mean, my children are my motivation. My daughters, like I said, I'm like, before above everything else, I want to be the greatest dad in the world. And my daughters, like the day that I, go to be with God, I want my daughters to say my dad was the best dad in the world. But really what keeps me motivated in business and what keeps me motivated in life is I grew up not having a lot as a child. I didn't grow up, like I told you, I worked in construction my life, 8, 9 years old, making cement for my dad and doing all of that and seeing, really the struggle my dad had to go through in order to buy us Nike sneakers and stuff like that when we were kids. And I came from not having much, and I never forget wherever I'm going, I never forget where I came from. So that's what really keeps me motivating it's like I know what it is not to have, and I fear that so much that's what keeps me hungry and motivated and never lets me to stay comfortable. Because, being comfortable and complacency is the killer of drive and motivation. And that's what really keeps me motivated is knowing where I came from. And it just helps me keep my eyes on where I need to go and be able to endure everything that I got to do to go through the process.
Oh, that was beautiful, Luis. Thank you.
It is. And
yeah, very nice.
When you said that initially, I wanted to add, because I can relate at the same level. I used to do the same thing with my dad. My dad was an electrician. And in the summers, we would have to go and work, and I wouldn't even get paid. So I grew up that way. And back then I remember thinking like, damn, I want to be at the beach or hanging out with my friends or playing video games, whatever it may be. And I had to be there. But that
it shapes you.
No, it shaped me in a way. It gave me responsibility and it just gave me sense of not sense of purpose, but just drive to be better and to always work hard. So now I see the value of what my dad did with me, and it wasn't so that I could help him; it's so that he was teaching me a lesson. You have to work, and you have to work hard to get the things that you want.
And my dad used to do the same thing, and every day I always look at my dad and I just tell him, "Papi, gracias, thank you for being the way that you were, thank you for not spoiling me," because I got my general contractor's license at 20 years old. 20 years old.
It's amazing.
As a matter of fact, when I got it, the board denied my license application, and they made me go before the board, and they interrogated me before the construction industry licensing board and asked me questions, experience questions. They drilled me like a drill sergeant, and I just stood there and just locked in. Bam, answered all their questions. I was 20 years old, and I had a GC license. I remember when I passed it and I passed the exam, there were guys there saying, "How the heck did he get it? I've been in the trade 25 years." And it's like, yeah, but you weren't working summers with your dad like I was, maybe. So I'm grateful for it. And look, even whenever you go through stuff in life, I appreciate the process more than the final destination. So you got to always understand where you're at, where you're going through, and learn that what this is happening, it's for your good.
There's always a lesson to be learned.
Yep.
And talking about the process, where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, we see ourselves continuing to grow and continue to grow and expanding the company. And hopefully I'll be able to take a little bit more vacations, a little bit less hands-on, but I doubt it. I'm a workaholic. I'm just going to 5 years, we're just going to keep, pushing the wall uphill, because that's just like what I love to do. And when I'm not doing it, I feel weird.
Maybe he'll own a horse in 5 years.
I think he will. I think in less time.
In less time?
I think in less time.
My daughter right now is dying for me to get her a dog.
Oh my God. What is
That's
it
where
with
it
little? I
starts.
think my daughter's watching the same shows because it's like the same.
That's what it is.
It's creepy. She is dying for a dog. She loves horses. Let me know if you buy one. I'll bring her over. She can ride your horse.
So I got to buy the horse. So
Yeah.
I got it.
But yeah, it's like all kids want the same things now. A puppy and a horse.
A puppy and a horse. And I said, okay, so are you going to pick up what the dog does? No, you're going to do it. I said, no.
Yeah.
So she's dying for me to. So I think the dog has to come first, which is a major step. And then after the dog, then.
Depending how she does with the dog, then maybe you graduate to a horse.
Yeah.
My dog, I rent him. So
is he trained?
if you guys.
Oh, you rent dogs?
Yeah, no, only mine. If you guys.
If he's trained?
You know what? It's not even rent. I'll just give it to you guys for free for as long as you could have them. And then really. So please take me up on the offer, any of you or both of you at the same time. All right, Luis, so we want to do what we call rapid fire. It's a session to end our podcast. and we're going to ask you 5 questions and just get your quickest answers. Okay. So starting with your biggest fear.
Planes. And I fly, and I love it. And I scuba dive. Me and Jonathan have dove with sharks, hundreds of sharks around us, you name it. But I'm still afraid of planes. Every time I go on a plane, I'm praying. Like I pray while it's going up and pray it's going down. Like I text my daughters, I love you. Daddy loves you. Like, I don't know. I'm afraid of planes.
Yeah, I do the same thing. But at least you still fly. Because there's some people that are so afraid they don't fly. I'm afraid, but not afraid enough to not travel.
Yeah.
I'm more afraid of not traveling than of planes. So I'm glad that you still do it, even if, that's your fear.
Listen, I'm exactly the same way. And you know what I did? I did more research on why planes.
I'm even more afraid to do that.
No, do the research and you'll see it's actually very unlikely.
Well, you have more chances of being involved in a car accident than in a plane accident. However, your survival rates, let's not go into those statistics.
Yeah.
But planes don't just fall out of the sky. It's there has to be a really major failure of some sort of component in order for a plane to.
Did you hear that was his biggest fear?
Yeah, but it's so unlikely, and so it's,
So keep traveling.
I feel a lot better now. I actually get to sleep, and I would never sleep before. All right, ultimate goal.
I want to be the best father that in the world. I want to be the best dad to my daughters always.
Okay. Well, you sound like you already are. So
I got to keep it up.
You're doing a good job.
Favorite food?
Hibachi. People like your steakhouse. I love all of that. Don't get me wrong, but there is nothing like filet mignon, shrimp, the hibachi fried rice with the vegetables and the yum yum sauce.
Oh, I see Javi over there. He's
salivating.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
What's your favorite restaurant to eat it at?
Samurai.
Samurai.
I've been to all of them. Samurai is the best. I love it. I love it. I go there like once a month. I swear.
Your favorite hobby or your hobby?
Fishing. I love the ocean. If it wasn't, I always say that when I retire, I'm gonna have a fishing charter. I love fishing. Fishing is my passion. I love being out on the ocean. Love being out on the water. And I'm like a yellowtail slayer.
Yeah.
I catch yellowtail so big during the day on a Saturday. And I come back to the marina and people are like, "Did you go to the Bahamas?" Nope. So
right off the coast here.
Yeah. I love fishing.
Awesome, man. Your favorite quote or saying?
My favorite quote, and this is like live and die by this. It's I got it from Thomas Blackwell, a book. It's called The Liberty of Our Language Revealed. It's a great book. I recommend you to read it. It changed my life. And the main thing you learn in that book is that things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And in life, you have to learn to understand that what's happening to you right now, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, for your good.
Yeah.
For your, elevation, for your very own good. So that's like the saying that I live by, that whatever I go through in life, it's not happening to me. It's happening for me. Something good is going to come out of here for me. God is preparing the way for me to go somewhere, take me to a better level. And that's really like my saying, what I live and die by.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Cool.
Luis, I really appreciate you coming and spending the time here with us. I know that you were super busy today, so it really means a lot that you took this and did this with us. I want to thank you again. And let's do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really appreciate being here with you guys. And make sure you hire for your PA Monarch claims. Like, trust me, it's
TruView.
It's the TruView.
Yeah, TruView for inspections. Thank you, Luis. Oh, sorry, you had something else to say?
Yeah, for our viewers, my hand is here, but I'm not holding a gun. So he's saying that
he's not holding me hostage.
Completely on his own accord. All right.
All right. Thank you, Luis. It was nice chatting with you and getting to know you and more about your company.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone looking at these videos, and hopefully we're bringing value to you. Please subscribe, like, comment. I really want to hear from all of you, and just want to get a sense of how we're doing. And that's it. Till next time, guys. See you soon.